You're the only one here without a suit of armor!
Arrogans approaching.
What is that? What's with that armor?
He was your typical worthless, smelly gamer boy who never had a chance at any girls until one day. After finally taking a break from his game, he walks to the store but ends up dying along the way. This reincarnates him into the very game he was playing, making him realize his sad life will take a change for the better. The story begins with our filthy protagonist playing games in his sweaty room all alone. He wishes that the girl in his game would love him in real life, but he has no such luck. With him having no game in real life, he enjoys his worthless life rizzing up NPCs. That is until he gets a message from the only girl he is in contact with, his little sister. She sends him a picture of her at the beach, reminding him of the time when she gave him the game. It turns out that his sister forced him to play this dating game because of how bad his game was. While he plays, some random girl interrupts his game, forcing him to click his tongue. He decides to take the NPC girl into a dungeon to defeat the monsters for her in an attempt to show off. As he progresses in the game, it turns into a completely different game, making him wonder what he is even playing. Eventually, he gets to the point where he must spend money on the game to progress, so he starts emptying his pockets. The only thing this does, however, is add him to the reverse harem around the... He wonders why he has to share a woman in a dating game, thinking he would get to see some sort of action. He went to bed hating this game, but ended up playing it until completion. Now that he cleared the game, he gets up to finally eat something, barely making his way out the door. As he tries to go down the stairs, his puny leg muscles give out, causing him to fall down a single flight of stairs and die. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in a new world, completely unknown to him. Later that day, his parents find him, so they beat him for being such a pitiful kid. As they beat on their child, some rich lady sees them and asks if that is how peasants treat their kids. This makes the father realize he is a scumbag, so he apologizes to the women. This clears things up for her, so she leaves, causing Leon, our protagonist, to head home. Here he finds another peasant kid like himself, who explains that in this world the women reign supreme. He talks about an academy and various races, making Leon question what this world is about. His brother then informs him that in this world, women control everything, with men being treated as the housewives. 10 years after he entered the world, he still finds himself a background character. Despite this, he still does his best to strengthen his power and adapt to the new lifestyle. He tells himself that one day he will surely become a protagonist, knowing his hard work won't be in vain. As he thinks of this, some flying aircraft emerges. This causes him to be called into the main house, where his rich mom informs him he has to marry someone. Upon inspecting the women, he learns she is some fat pig who has already had 6 husbands. Leon, of course, protests this decision, asking her to enroll him in the academy instead. His mother protests, however, demanding that as the third son, he has no rights, and he will do as she says. Before we continue, let's take a moment to answer the question of the day. If you could reincarnate into any game world, which would it be? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out in the next video. Now, back to the recap. This gets Leon to think of what to do, but is interrupted when his mom informs him he will be put on the battlefield if he doesn't obey her. This makes him remember all the hours he spent on the game, wondering how he can earn some money. He then gets an idea, so he hurries off, talking with his father about the ordeal in the process. He gets his father to loan him a ship where Leon explores the world. He knows that in this game, the protagonist should be enrolling in the academy soon, so he should get a head start at rizzing her up. As he travels, he finds some ugly fish monster flying, so he decides to shoot it instead of doing something cool. This defeats the monster, thus allowing him to find something called the transporter. Upon entering, he loses control and is forced into yet another foreign land. Following this, he starts looking around, realizing everything is the same as it was in the game. He then stumbles upon a guard, so he takes it out with a single bullet yet again. This allows him to further explore the ruins, where he finds various strange things, including a corpse. He decides to loot the body before continuing, knowing they might have something good. This allows him to enter a restricted area where he finds an ancient plane. With a swipe of the stolen keycard, he is able to enter the facility that happens to be the same as in the game. Because of this, he is able to explore the area efficiently until he is stopped by another enemy. This time his gun doesn't work on it, so he is forced to try and lie his way out of it. Obviously, this doesn't work, so he begins running away. knowing he could lose a limb with a misstep. The robot then ups its game, putting up a barrier to block any incoming attack from Leon. After doing so, it laughs at Leon, forcing him to pull out a grenade he just so happens to have. Yet again, however, this does no damage to the robot, so it grabs Leon, asking him about the present world. He tries to stay quiet, but once the robot starts electrocuting him, he is forced to spill the beans. This leads to the robot revealing his mission: to eliminate the new humans. These new humans refer to the people walking the planet currently, him being a robot from ancient times. After all of this, Leon still doesn't give up, drawing his sword to face the robot. Instead of striking it, the edge of the sword zips off, defeating the monster. Now, after winning in the battle, Leon continues exploring the area, hoping he can find the item he is looking for. Finally, after searching around, he finds the control panel granting him access to the ship. Along with this, he decides to claim the robot, Luxian, as his own companion. It tells him that because of his strength, it will assist him in any way he can to further his plans. Although he got everything he wanted, he ended up exhausting himself too much, forcing him to faint. Meanwhile, back home, his mother talks with his father about how stupid Leon is. She tells her husband that Leon is surely dead, so they ought to just forget about him. As they say this, however, a large ship emerges to the house, forcing them to accept his strength. With loads of riches aboard the ship, he knows that nobody can prevent him from going to the school. Upon arriving at the school, he finds all of the characters he had seen within the game. Because he had so much wealth, he decided to buy a floating island himself and build on it. With the addition of Luxio's help, he is able to easily renovate the land. On top of this, he was promoted to the title of Baron for exploring a hidden dungeon. His father informs him because of this, he will need to find a powerful wife to take care of him, like Zola, his mother. The royal capital of the Holfort Kingdom is where our protagonist lives, which also hosts the academy. With the entire city being built around nobility, everyone within the city is rich. Once Leon arrives, he is nothing less than shabby, showing how much of a difference in class there is. Following this, some hot guys emerge, followed by a blonde girl named Angelica. Leon informs us that she is the main antagonist who attempts to keep the main girl free from being hit on. This makes Leon realize what kind of world he is stepping into, but he doesn't think much of it. That is until he leaves his entrance ceremony to find the prince getting slapped by a girl. She tells him that what he did is unforgivable. This makes Leon recall what happened within the game, only to forget entirely who the girl was. Because he is unsure of her identity, he goes about his day as normal, cultivating his skills. As he works, his robot friend Luxio emerges, asking Leon if he wants any help with anything. Leon ignores the worthless robot and decides to go talk with some fellow dudes. Here he talks about various girls until he is interrupted by the prince, Julius, walking by. With tons of girls fanning over him, this makes Leon and the others jealous. He observes as the prince is approached by Angelica, asking him to discuss some important things. As they talk to the girl from before, Marie emerges asking what Julius needs. He explains to her he is holding a tea party and he would like her to join him. He tells Angelica even though she is his fiancée, he cares not about her, showing he plans on living as a playboy. Later that day in class, his teacher teaches them about etiquette, making Leon wonder why he has to take such a class. He dozes off, which causes the teacher to notice him, demanding he focus up. He then informs Leon that if he wants to riz any girls, then he needs to have perfect manners. To play along with the group, he acts feminine, thanking his teacher for teaching him how to pour tea. Thanks to this class, he is able to hold a tea party later that day. Invited is a hot girl who happens to bring all of her ugly friends. The fat one of her friends enters first and starts eating all the food, causing Leon to wonder why he even tried. After all the girls leave, he notices Oliva in the hallway being bullied by some other students. He decides to step in to see if he has a chance with her, knowing she is the protagonist of the game. With his smooth talking, he brings the girl into his tea party room where the two chatted up. Unlike the other girls, she actually enjoys his treats, making him realize his efforts were not in vain. As he continues to talk with her, he learns that she is a peasant who was only able to enter the academy due to scholarships. By sharing this, she gets sad, causing Leon to offer her support. He then calls out the girl who bullies Olivia, telling her to stop messing with her so much. This causes the girl to tell Olivia to get more active and try to befriend more people. She explains that with lots of friends, she can get nice snacks, making her wonder why she hasn't been more active. Leon then tells her that he will be her sugar daddy, buying her snacks and such to hold a tea party of her own. She then meets with Angelica to discuss her enrollment at the academy. Angelica acts nice at first, but once her grunts leave, she begins showing her true side. She tells Olivia that she needs to up her game and stop acting like such a victim. Although she is harsh on her, she gives Olivia the push she needs. As they talk, Olivia informs her that Leon was the one who set this all up, causing them to talk about him. After this happens, Leon heads into the dungeon to do a class quest. Thankfully, with the addition of Leon, most of the students are confident it will end in a success. The teacher then urges them to begin, but they are stopped when Angelica starts screaming at Marie. She tells her that she is too filthy to stand on the same side as the prince, urging her to buzz off. Neither side backs down, however, causing tension to arise. This leads to Leon asking more about Marie, where he learns she comes from a poor Viscount's family, barely earning her a spot in the school. Eventually, they split their ways, allowing Leon to begin exploring the dungeon. He quickly finds an oar, giving hope to Olivia. After some exploring, they find a monster, so Leon steps up to the plate, defeating it with ease. He doesn't stop here, however, farming every monster in his way. This causes a bunch more monsters to appear, forcing the prince to step up to the plate and act the hero. He begins killing all the monsters, flexing his strength to Leon and Angelica's party. This fight causes Julius to get injured, so Marie displays her powers, using healing magic on him. Leon was also injured, and it turns out Olivia is also capable of using healing magic. This makes him wonder why the roles are changed, and why Marie was never in the game. Later that week at school, Angelica presents a burned backpack to Julius, asking him if he knows who did it. It is revealed the bag is Marie's, showing she is still experiencing a lot of bullying despite the prince protecting her. Meanwhile, Leon and his ugly friends talk amongst each other how they have no chance at any of the girls. Leon tells the others he has no luck with women either, explaining his tea party attempts have failed. They then start talking about Angelica and Julius's relationship. Leon remembers a moment when the two were fighting, but thought it was further along the story. This makes him question Olivia about what she knows about Marie. Instead of her sharing information, she shares discomfort, asking Leon if he is in love with her. He denies it, then she starts explaining what Marie said to her the one time she met her. Marie told her that she hates girls like her, making Leon wonder what she meant by that. He then overhears something rambling around in the library, so he decides to go peek. Upon arriving, he finds Marie making out with one of Julius's closest companions. Later that day, Marie is seen walking down the hallway, happy that she is in a world like this. After this happens, Julius arrives, asking Marie if she wants a personal servant. She accepts without hesitation, showing she plans on abusing the servant in which she is given. As she walks to class, she reveals that she also knows this is an otome game, showing she is also from another world. Angelica, on the other hand, is enraged, realizing that she has lost her lover, Julius. This anger causes her to break some things in her room, wondering how a girl like Marie could win him over. She asks herself whether she deserves this, having served Julius her entire life. Meanwhile, Leon is seen lying around until some girl enters his room, asking what he knows about Marie. He informs her that he isn't involved in any way, but he knows something is going on. This claim isn't enough for the girl, however, her telling Leon that he better not get in between Julius and Angelica's romance. Once the loud girl leaves, he lies back down, wondering if he should go conquer another dungeon. As he thinks of this, Luxio emerges, telling Leon that he can help him with that. Leon then asks him how his information-gathering abilities are. This allows Luxio to explain that he can access people after seeing them, but can't understand their emotions. After this happens, Julius attends a ball where he stands beside Marie. Leon also happens to be at the ball where he attempts to rizz up various girls to become his wife. Despite his advances, he and his friends all get rejected, making them look like fools. While this is happening, Angelica is seen arguing with Julius. She tells him that she deserves to be his wife, informing him Marie is messing with other girls. As she tries to expose Marie, the other minions start informing her that they all love Marie, with each of them fawning over Marie in every way. Angelica is lost for words. She's unsure how to react, asking the prince if he plans on allowing his girl to be passed around like a toy. As she continues to get flamed, Angelica eventually resorts to the last possible counter. She throws her glove at Marie and orders her to do a duel against her with Julius's heart as the prize. Once this happens, Julius tells her to pick it up, informing her he will fight on her side. The rest of the randoms enter the conversation as well, telling Angelica they all plan on fighting her in Marie's stead. Leon overhears all of this and wonders if he should step in to help Angelica. With her being completely alone with nobody to rely on, he's forced to step up and represent Angelica. He says his reasoning is because he hates them. He then steps up to the stage and tells all of the guys that he will fight against them, asking Angelica to appoint him as his proxy. Once she does, Leon continues with his remarks, claiming he can easily take on all 5 of the men. Leon does all of this because he knows that Marie is from another world, just as he is because of Luxio. Julius then tells him to sit down and stop acting the hero, but Leon persists. He tells him to hurry up and demand their demands for the winner. Marie claims to want to be left alone from bullying if she wins, while Leon tells Julius he has to break up with Marie if he loses, with it being a 5v1 they accept, thinking their victory is guaranteed. Once they do, Leon continues to instigate them, making sure they go into battle trying their hardest. This angers them even more, so they tell him they are ready to fight him once he gets 4 other companions. Leon, however, persists, telling them he has no need for teammates. This makes them think he is underestimating him, but they accept the duel regardless. He then challenges the prince directly, showing he doesn't care about his nobility. After this happens, Marie sits around on her bed, wishing Leon wouldn't get in her way. Leon, on the other hand, comes back to class to find tons of people scribbling on his walls, showing nobody expects him to win. On top of this, a bet has started on who would win the duel, giving Leon an idea. He bets all his funds on himself, then goes to meet with Angelica. She urges him to pull out of the duel, knowing he is getting bullied for his actions. Leon, on the other hand, informs Angelica that he doesn't care about something as petty as that, informing her he is fighting for his own pride. After hearing this, she still tries to get him to back out, asking him from the bottom of her heart not to sacrifice himself for her. Even after these remarks, Leon continues with the duel, arriving at the stadium with new armor. Before he heads into battle, Olivia urges him to win, showing she cares deeply for him. They then head outside into the stadium where Leon finds everyone rooting against him. He also finds his only friends with a bet against Leon. As everyone thinks his defeat is guaranteed, Leon summons a large suit of armor, unknown to everybody else. They laugh at it for being so old, not knowing that Leon holds one of the strongest armors. Everyone laughs and calls it lame, causing Angelica to explain why everyone is laughing. With his armor being ancient armor, he is surely to have lower speed and strength than the newer ones. Olivia, on the other hand, thinks that his armor is strong, noticing how much more detailed it is than the others. Leon then enters his robot, where Luxio floats beside him, hoping to assist him in battle. Once he is all set up, he approaches the first of the grunts, still acting like a beast. Leon knows that they don't only talk big, they also hold strength to back it up. Regardless, Leon still proceeds with the battle, telling the purple man he is easy pickings. He then summons a large shovel, making Leon wonder why Luxio didn't get him a sword. He tries to switch it out, but Luxio persists, urging him to use the shovel. Once this happens, everyone erupts with laughter except the prince, showing he isn't underestimating Leon. Finally, after worthless chatter, the battle begins, but it goes an unexpected way. Brad, the purple-haired man, thinks he has the advantage with all of his weapons, but Leon easily overpowers him, knocking him down with a single strike. Leon reveals that he only hit him with a small amount of his power, causing Luxio to explain that if he goes all out, they will surely die. The referees then announce that Leon won the first match, causing his etiquette professor to clap for him. This makes all of the other students wonder who Leon truly is after seeing his power. Angelica, on the other hand, questions Leon's power, thinking it's impossible to make movements like he did in such large armor. Regardless, it's a victory for her, so she starts laughing, thinking she has a chance at winning. After he sees his strength, the red-haired man emerges to hopefully claim victory. Like Brad, however, Greg, the red-haired man, gets knocked down within an instant after letting out all of his attacks on Leon. Leon reveals that, although Greg is strong, he has no clue how to properly use his armor, making it an easy win for Leon. He then begins pulling off all of his armor's limbs, showing he means business. Even after he is knocked out of his armor, he claims to still be ready to fight, causing Leon to tell him to shut it. He informs him that he doesn't enjoy bullying the weak unlike himself. This angers him even more, so he begins smacking at Leon's armor, showing that he doesn't know when to give up. After this, the blue-harried man, Chris, enters the battlefield, making the same worthless remarks like the others. Leon knows this guy is another weakling, so he pays it no mind. He sends out some small robots that lay infinite fire on Chris, showing he also has no chance at victory. Once he's done fooling around with him, Leon smashes his sword in two and knocks him to the ground. Now, with him defeating so many of them, he takes a break and leaves his armor lying around. One of the prince's grunts is seen standing around it, hoping to mess with the armor somehow. The girls then run around looking for Leon, telling him that his older sister informed them he was sick. Leon, however, feels perfectly fine, so he tells the girls that there is nothing to worry about. He then walks back to his armor, where Luxio informs him that his sister planted a bomb within his armor. This doesn't faze Leon, though, telling Luxio that he will simply just tank the hit from the bomb. He then goes to get back in his armor, where he heads to the battlefield, facing off against the green-haired man. The referee then begins the battle, where his opponent starts by using schemy techniques. He tries to utilize his underhanded methods, but Leon's armor takes no damage whatsoever. He then explodes the bomb on him, but like the other attacks, it does nothing. Instead, Leon takes it as a chance to get behind his opponent, striking him in the back. He continues his attacks until he gets tired of playing around, so he finishes off his opponent for good. Now, with only the prince left to battle, Leon prepares himself, knowing he will be the strongest. Even after seeing all of his attacks, the prince assures Marie that he will emerge victorious. This makes Marie remember all the times when she played with the guys in the game, remembering them all being weak. With this, Julius enters the battlefield, not knowing he will also get made a fool of. Marie, on the other hand, is determined to keep her lavish lifestyle, so she tells herself she will do anything to win. Meanwhile, Leon is seen trash-talking Julius, asking him what he thinks about Olivia. Julius informs that he cares not about Olivia, making Leon wonder why the game is so backwards. In the heat of battle, Leon wonders if Julius's armor really is the most superior in the world, as he claims. He decides to test it out by striking him, but Julius doesn't back down. The two continue exchanging blows until Julius eventually gets the upper hand, using his ultimate power. Once he sees this, Leon levels up a bit as well, asking Julius if this is his strongest. As they fight, Leon speaks inspiring words to him, making the girls around him start to fan over him. Leon tells Julius that he should stop messing around with a side ting like Marie and accept Angelica as her wife already. This makes Julius explain that the only person who ever truly cared about her is Marie, still not knowing her true motives. Julius tells Leon that the only reason he is fighting is to show off his strong armor. Leon then informs him that is the exact reason he is fighting him, showing he cares not about his feelings. Julius tries to tell Leon of his painful life being forced into nobility, but Leon has other plans. He tells him that he has never had to experience the pain that a country boy would, being mistreated by everyone. These words hit some of the audience to heart, Angelica especially. She realizes that Julius truly doesn't care about her, making her wonder what to do. Olivia then starts speaking, telling Julius that he needs to recognize others' feelings instead of just himself. She tells him that Angelica is truly in love with him, urging him to give up the duel. This finally opens Julius's eyes, but not for the right reason. He tells Angelica that only Marie loves him for who he is, ordering Angelica to leave him alone from now on. This angers Leon, so he decides to stop playing around, telling Julius that he needs to man up. He reminds him of his position as a prince, telling him and the audience even if he loses, he will continue living a perfect lifestyle. He then tells the prince to stop being such a baby and face him like a man. This makes everyone in the audience erupt, but Leon doesn't care, hoping to play the villain in this life. He then moves in on Julius, grabbing him a hold as he strikes him. He asks Julius if he will sacrifice his ascension to the throne, knowing if he marries Marie, he will lose everything. He continues to explain his love for Marie, however, causing Leon to finally lose his temper. He uses his ultimate attack to completely destroy the prince's armor, crowning him the victor. With all of the students betting against Leon that erupt in anger, realizing they made a bad gamble. Leon then goes to flirt with his girls, hoping they will give him some special service for his victory. Leon then informs Olivia that despite him winning, he will be expelled from the school, knowing the prince won't let this slide. Following this, Angelica goes to meet with Julius where they talk things out. He asks her if she even knows what he likes, revealing Angelica never truly tried to get to know her. He informs her that although she tried to win him over, he has already devoted his heart to Marie. Leon, on the other hand, is forced to meet with the officials of the academy to talk about his actions. Leon asks them to take all blame out on him, hoping they will overlook his actions. Thankfully, the school's leaders don't try to punish Leon, making him overjoyed. He tells them that he only defeated Julius to prove his point. Once the headmaster overhears this, he decides to try and get Leon to help his granddaughter. Upon hearing this, he heads to go meet with her, leaving the school's officials to talk about him. Not only did Leon give up all of his wealth, but also his title as a baron to ensure that his family is protected. Angelica, on the other hand, is angry with herself, blaming Leon's expulsion on herself. She thinks that it's her fault that everyone is in a panic, not knowing it was part of Leon's plan. With him being kicked out the house, he heads back to his home to be greeted by his family. They question his sanity after hearing that Leon not only picked a fight with the prince, but is also bringing the Duke's daughter home. As they talk about him, Angelica enters the room, asking Leon's mother to take good care of him. Once she hears that Angelica is from the Duke's family, her whole demeanor changes, forcing her to go fix something up in the kitchen. Leon also decided to bring Olivia home with him, hoping to win at least one of the girls over. As they look around his property, Leon decides to show the girls where his bath is. They make sure to take full advantage of this, bathing alongside each other. While they are in the bath, the girls talk about their relationship to Leon, revealing they both are in love with him. This similarity between the two makes them much closer than before, dressing up in the same outfit. Leon then approaches just in time to overhear their chit-chatting. Angelica shares that she still feels bad about the situation, wishing she could take revenge on the prince. After Leon hears this, he proposes a plan to her, urging her to find her own happiness to make the prince jealous. During this, Marie learns that all of the men she has been fanning over have lost their titles. Julius thinks that this will make his love for Marie stronger, not knowing that she was playing them the entire time. She realizes that now she has 5 unemployed randoms to follow her around, bringing nothing to the table. On the other hand, Leon is greeted by a nobleman informing him of the situation. He tells Leon that because the others gave up their title, he will be rewarded rather than punished. He is presented with the title of 6th highest rank count in the Empire by the nobleman. This allows him to head back to school later, drawing the attention of many onlookers. With the prince not being at school anymore, Leon asks what they are all doing. Luxio informs him that they are going around mindlessly clearing dungeons in hope of finding an ancient item, like Leon. Following this, Leon's 2 blonde beauties emerge, asking him to accompany him to a cafe. Before we continue, let's take a moment to shout out the winner of the last video's top comment, RandomQV5UR. Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out in the next video. Let's get back to the recap. With Leon being back in the school, he makes sure to get to work on preparing, whether it's bringing tea to the table or cleaning. They think they are ready until the girls walk in. This forces them to stop and recognize their beauty, putting a halt to their progress. The 2 girls compliment each other's looks, drawing the attention of any envious man. Leon thinks that because of his presence in the game, he has no chance at winning over the girls. Leon's virgin friends wish they could have friends like her, but they are interrupted when Leon's sister emerges. She starts screaming at Leon, ordering him around until they finally sit down. She informs him that she is having a fight with her best friend, wondering if Leon could help her. She tells him that her best friend is in love with the same guy that she is, making her unsure how to act. Leon tells her she is in the wrong, so she rushes out, telling him he is worthless. After this happens, he is informed that there is an issue in the hallway. Once he heads outside, he finds Julius running a cafe right next to their own. Instead of ignoring him like usual, Julius approaches Leon and urges him to try out their cafe. Once Olivia inspects the prices, she learns that not only is his cafe run by him, but he also has the ridiculous prices. He tells Leon he will defeat him, so Leon decides to go check his place out. Once entering the cafe, he finds all of the prince's minions standing around in their own respective outfits, with each of them looking as glamorous as ever. They inform Leon that they won't lose this time. They act as if it's the same as their battle, telling Leon he will be a loser this time around. Following this, Marie emerges, showing off her new dress to the others. This angers Leon, so he begins roasting her, asking why they are treating a girl like her as a princess. Marie counters by telling him whoever has the better cafe will be the stronger. Leon again wonders why they think a school festival is the same as a battle. Later that day, Olivia works her hardest trying to get people to come to their cafe. When she approaches one of the girls, she begins yapping at Olivia, telling her she is some worthless peasant. They then walk away without caring about her cafe until a girl named Carla shows interest. Finally, the day of the cafe emerges, where Leon orders all of the workers to try their hardest. Before they start, Angelica is called away, leaving them down a member. It is revealed that the queen of the country was the one who called upon Angelica, asking her to be her guide. She tells her that she looks good in the maid outfit, not realizing the beauty she holds. As they talk, Leon eventually comes up in the conversation. Angelica asks her if she wants to meet him, having heard all about him. She tells Angelica that despite her son being beaten to a pulp by Leon, she still forgives him. Rather, she blames it on Julius. She talks about how much she hates the academy for the way the system is set up. They then head back to Leon's cafe, where she expects everything to go perfectly. Once they enter the cafe, however, she finds some girl yelling at Leon while throwing a cup at his face. Instead of lashing out, he respects her, doing whatever she says. As she continues to diminish Leon, the queen wonders why they would do such a thing to Leon. Before she is able to continue her advances, Angelica emerges, pushing the ugly girl away. The girl continues, however, this time roasting Angelica for wearing a maid outfit. Once she sees this, Olivia enters the conversation, speaking up for Angelica. This angers the ugly girl even more, however, calling Olivia a pet. Eventually, after the girl starts speaking out of line, Leon tells her to shut up already. Once he says this, her servant walks over and slaps Leon across the face. After this happens, the queen interrupts the conversation, ordering the ugly girl to pay her bill and leave already. The girl protests, however, claiming she is of too high rank to listen to some old lady. After she says this, Leon gets ticked off beyond belief, so he decides to start fighting back. He smashes all of the ugly girl's servants to the ground and walks over to her. Now, with all of her servants on the ground, Leon announces the old hag as the queen of their country, Mylene. He then tells the ugly girl that she will be put to death for treating the queen as she did. This only leads to more fighting until Leon's etiquette teacher enters for a cup of tea. He tells Leon to calm his nerves and act like a true gentleman, never harming a girl. Once this whole ordeal is cleared up, They sit down for some tea to further discuss Julius's punishment. Mylene tells Leon that she knows Julius is no match for her, thus thinking there is no reason to punish her son. She then asks Leon if he has any plans of working at the capital, recognizing his strength. He accepts, so she starts with asking him to help her experience a school life. She reveals because she was married off, she never experienced a proper school life. Once she says this, Leon decides to take advantage of the queen, asking her to marry him. He confesses her love for him, causing her to wonder if she is truly fit for him. As they talk, Julius enters the room and overhears Leon spitting games on his mom. While still holding hands, she tries to tell Julius nothing is going on, but Julius knows better. He throws Leon into a trash can and leaves without saying another word. She then goes to sit down with Julius, where she is extremely angry. She demands that Julius presents Marie before her, wanting to see why he would sacrifice everything. He denies her request, so she goes in, asking why he spent all of her kingdom's money on building such a lavish cafe. She tells him that she needs to see Marie to settle things. Meanwhile, Leon is still in his cafe, greeting his new guest, Carla. With a decent figure, Leon acknowledges her presence. Once he does, she asks him to save her and her family from danger.